Welcome to the Reason Check podcast, the show where we slow things down, examine arguments closely, and let the thing speak for itself. I'm your host, Stephen, and today we're diving deep into one of the most intense segments from a recent Joe Rogan Experience episode. It's episode 2303. It's a clash between Douglas Murray and Dave Smith on Israel, Hamas, Gaza, hostages, and the moral calculus of that war. This exchange is raw, emotional, and revealing. Both men are sharp, both care deeply, but they end up talking past each other in ways that illuminate larger divides in how we discuss this conflict. I've listened to this section that we're going to be dealing with today multiple times, and timestamp by timestamp, I want to walk you through it fairly, critically, and without pulling punches on either side. Let's start around the 2-hour, 7-minute mark. Douglas Murray speaking there, and with his characteristic precision, stresses how extraordinarily complex military operations are, especially in an environment like Gaza, where Hamas embeds itself in civilian infrastructure. He then poses a direct challenge to Dave Smith. Murray says to Smith, "Do you know anyone who has a better idea of how to prosecute this war in order to get the hostages back and destroy Hamas?" Dave Smith doesn't respond immediately, but 30 seconds later, he concedes the core point. Yes, humility is warranted in situations this complex. Good. So far, both men are on the same page about the difficulty level. But then Dave flips it. He asks Murray whether Murray ever second-guesses himself, whether this could turn into another Iraq-style disaster. He notes that Murray supported the Iraq War, and that's correct, while he, Dave Smith, opposed it, which is also correct, and that Iraq was, by most measures, a catastrophe. Murray's response is calm, but frankly comes across as pompous. He says he's been on the ground. He wrote a book about it. The book is called On Democracies and Death Cults, Israel and the Future of Civilization. Excellent book. And he doesn't feel the need to second-guess himself. He's probably right on the merits. He's thought about this deeply. But the delivery that he provides lands as dismissive. Dave Smith immediately picks up on that and accuses him of lacking humility. Here's the first missed opportunity in that discussion. They're actually not as far apart as it sounds. Murray's saying, "I've carefully examined this and stand by my view." Dave hears, "I'm infallible." A softer phrasing from Murray, for example, "I've wrestled with this a lot, and here's why I still believe it," might have helped keep the conversation far more productive. Then Dave Smith makes his substantive case. Bombing large parts of Gaza risks the hostages and radicalizes the population. He points to the hostage releases negotiated through mediators like Qatar as evidence that diplomacy works better than military pressure. He argues that degrading Hamas militarily will only create more Hamas recruits, a common argument. And he insists that regime change isn't justified just because we dislike a regime. Otherwise, well, we'd be toppling governments everywhere. Makes sense. Few problems here, though. First, Dave downplays the October 7th attack itself. The trigger for this war wasn't an abstract, "we dislike Hamas," as he alluded to earlier. It was the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. 1,200 murders, hundreds taken hostage, systematic rape and torture. That context changes the moral equation significantly. Secondly, the historical analogy he implicitly rejects actually undermines his point. After World War II, the Allies completely crushed Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Total defeat, occupation, denazification, demilitarization. Did that create more Nazis or more militarists? No. Both societies were transformed radically. Radical ideologies can be defeated decisively. It's happened before. Third, on hostages, Murray later lands a strong rebuttal around 2 hours and 12 minutes. He points out that Hamas only ever released hostages under intense military pressure from the IDF. Negotiation alone didn't work. Kinetic force created the conditions for deals, that is, military force. That's hard to dispute based on the timeline. Dave Smith repeatedly uses emotionally loaded language. Slaughter, babies screaming under rubble, tortured to death slowly, fucked over. These phrases are designed to evoke visceral horror, and they do. But in a truth-seeking discussion, they can crowd out nuance. Civilian deaths in war are tragic, always. Yet Hamas deliberately maximizes them by using human shields, a point Murray makes clearly and which Dave doesn't really engage effectively or at all. Murray, for his part, sometimes pivots away from the hardest questions. When Dave presses on the human cost, the innocent Palestinians dying, Murray shifts to the risks Israeli soldiers face going building to building. Well, that's valid, but it's not a direct answer to that question. He evades that question. He also then moves to property destruction at one point, which feels like a subject change. He could have acknowledged the suffering head on while still making his case about necessity and proportionality. He doesn't do that. And on proportionality, Dave Smith seems to treat it as a crude body count ratio. That's not how international law works. Proportionality is assessed target by target. Does the military value of striking a legitimate target outweigh the expected civilian harm? That's a commander's judgment call after getting all the input from all of the people responsible to provide that. It's not a post-war scoreboard. It's a judgment call. The biggest unresolved question, the one Murray asked at the beginning, remains hanging. If not this, then what? In other words, what would you do? Dave criticizes the costs, but never offers a viable alternative path to both retrieve all hostages and neutralize Hamas's military capacity. Negotiation without leverage failed for years. Unilateral withdrawal, as happened in 2005, led to Hamas takeover and rocket fire. So what's Plan C? Murray restates the dual goals clearly: degrade Hamas to the point it can't govern or launch attacks like October 7th, and get the hostages home. Dave responds with the same emotional framing, at the cost of slaughtering all those innocent people. War is horrific. Innocent people die in every war. That's why it's a last resort. But the alternative, leaving Hamas intact, also has a cost. More October 7ths, more dead Israelis, more dead Palestinians used as shields in the next round. Neither man fully bridges the gap. Dave leans heavily on moral horror without a workable solution. Douglas defends the necessity, but occasionally sounds aloof when empathy is called for. In the end, this exchange shows how hard it is to discuss this conflict rationally. Both of these gentlemen have partial truths. Neither fully persuades the other, or, I suspect, many listeners. That's what makes it worth dissecting.